Welcome to the Simple Success Podcast, where you've landed well in your search for financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. We'll be coming at you on a regular basis with podcasts, webinars, and masterclasses, together aimed at freeing you from the chains that the financial industry puts on all of us. Most of us don't even know what those chains are, and if I've learned anything in life, it's to not waste time trying to solve problems people don't even know they have. Let's go up to the common ground here. We can overcome, and we will do so. Join me for the ride of your life in a good way.
I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice.
Do your own research.
Consult a professional investment advisor before making any investment decisions.
This show is for entertainment only. Faites vos propres recherches.
Here we are in another episode
of the Simple Success Podcast.
And
this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective.
Breaking up is hard to do, which is fine, since we don't do that here. Care to try again? Breaking up hard stuff into nuggets for simple success is what we do. That's better. You got that right, DT. And we do it with happiness, because it helps us to deconstruct the myths about success and investing for you. And you change everything. Change has a ripple effect that reaches out far and wide. It's like the butterfly effect. What's the butterfly effect? It's the common name for what's really called sensitive dependence on initial conditions, or SDIC. That is very serious geek stuff, mon ami. You want simpler? Duh, again. Okay. The term is derived from the example of weather being influenced by minor perturbations, such as a butterfly flapping its wings several weeks earlier, thousands of miles away. I didn't know such a small portion of change can have far-reaching effects. It does. And what's even more interesting is that the original measuring had nothing to do with butterflies. That was a story put together to demonstrate how our expectations can be thrown off by things we don't remember to consider. Like in the original experiment? Yep. Which just dropped some numbers to the right of the decimal point to make things seem easier. Ooh, but in doing so, we didn't consider those real thoughts, those real numbers. Now you know, my friend. If you want to be an agent of change, think positive. And join our efforts to spread the truth. I mean, we don't just want to change the world, but also be on top of the world with extra cash, right? Right. Oh, DT, I am so glad that this success and happiness bug has had sufficient funds to have bitten you. Bitten me, John? It's done more than that. It has sunk its fangs right into my heart, and now that's all I ever think about. And today will make you giddier. This is our take on that age-old question about whether or not you should pay off your mortgage. Ooh, and pick up a lesser debt burden? Maybe, but not necessarily. Let's get started. Let's. First, we need to understand why people buy homes. It's because of realtors, right? I mean, why would anybody want to own their own home? Well, there are many reasons, but one of them is security. That's a topic that the whole of America should hear. You know that owning a home is part of the American dream. What we're talking about is near and dear to our listeners and touches on the lives of hundreds of millions of Americans. I'll cut straight to the chase, John. The $64,000 question is, should I pay off my mortgage? The principal portion? Any portion? Yes and no, DT. I thought it would be a simple, straight answer, John. Would you please elaborate on the financial impact? Of course. As a financial planner, back when I did that, I would always tell people that there were two answers to that question. Why? I didn't know it at the time, but it was because of goals. How so? If a person hears they should do this, but they have a 4 or 5% mortgage, which is pretty common these days, then there's two answers. The first is? The first is that the math in that example says no way. Why again? Because that's a bad yield spread. You can invest the difference. You can do way better than 4 or 5% with that money. Is that news?
Fake news.
It's real news. At least if you believe the thousands of YouTubers who also say that. But if paying off the loan makes you sleep better at night... Oh, I get it. That's more important than the tax perspective.
But please speak to your accountant regarding your situation.
It can be, but a mortgage is a loan, DT. And like with all loans, they come with penalties if and when one defaults for whatever reason. That's why you may be tempted to pay your mortgage early if you have the extra funds or even emergency funds. I see myself doing that. I love having peace of mind. So the second answer works better for you, but for a financial heavyweight, I'm on the way to becoming a heavyweight with all the training we do here. Way to go, champ. Way to go. Thanks, coach. What else? What else is, how close are you to retirement? If it's a long way off, you must also remember that time is an asset. What does Hill, the OG of self-improvement, have to say about the issue of time? Do not wait. The time will never be just right. It's kind of a Goldilocks thing. Start where you stand and work whatever tools you may have at your command, and better tools will be found as you go along.
Napoleon Hill quote detected.
I know what that means, John. A mortgage is tied to time, which is one of the most valuable resources I or anybody has at their disposal. I need to factor in time and my finances to succeed. That is a good point, DT. It's up to you to either stretch the time or shrink it, depending on your finances. But not, repeat, not depending on current rates. What other factors should I consider? I know that you prefer peace of mind, which comes with paying your mortgage early. But you need to look at the bigger picture, DT. Like the tax impact? Financial people always bring up that stuff, and it can be important. It just doesn't consider things like making you happy, which might be from investing the money. Right. Or might be from having the payment gone. Different strokes. Goals again. Well, that's another way to put it.
Yep.
I've become a more patient and persistent person ever since I started hanging out with you, John. And I hope I will continue to be a good influence when we return from
Break number 1.
Hello, everyone. This is John with the Simple Success Podcast, financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Because we know you want to show us some serious love in return for the tremendous benefits you get from us. Please head over to the support link in our written show notes. That's the words on your podcast player. There, you can choose from a $9.99 per month doing level of support, a $4.99 knowing level, or a basic intro level of just 99 cents per month. Great place to start, whichever you choose. Thank you so much for helping us do this for you. And to leave us a voice message, which just might see the light of day in a future podcast, go to those same written show notes. You'll go to a site where you can leave a video, audio, or text-only message, depending on how you feel at the moment. You can also send us an audio file attached to an email if you use just more than your phone for stuff. I won't repeat those links because weird. And anyway, show notes. It's all in there, and it's all easy. Before the break, you were as good of an influence as you could have been. Thank you, kind sir. And in learning more today, is there a need for me to be patient and persistent? DT, patience and persistence, and of course repetition, are vital in every type of investing. Wait, is this about mortgages or investments? Either. Both. In some respects, they're the same. A mortgage is also a type of investment. But no, I mean, it's a cost. It's a cost of making money, DT. Tell us about how that worked out for you. In my personal house or the rentals? Will, stick with your personal house for now. I can't wait.
That's good.
So, you borrowed a bunch of money to buy? To build, actually. Have built for you? Yes, go on. So, you borrowed a bunch of money and got this house? Yes, at 4%. So, how did you make money? Happy to share.
And John is so glad you asked.
I'm sure he is, Alex. From the time we had it built by people who knew what they were doing. Yes. It increased in value by 6.14%. And you kept the difference? You bet. Of course. That's one way investing can work for you if you're patient. It's another MSI. How patient? Like through the Great Recession patient. We built in 2004 and we sold in 2019. What's more, we had an adjustable mortgage, also called a variable rate mortgage, the whole time. Wow, that was risky. Yeah, it was. But it was air quotes normal behavior at the time. At least for the first couple of years. It was normal to take incredible risks? I suppose so, but that's not how it felt. Or how it was marketed? Correct. It was all numbers focused instead of being numbers and happiness focused. As in? As in, you can choose between an adjustable 4 or a fixed 5 or 6. Which wasn't dumb until the Great Recession, as it was called. Right. And some people realized that the adjustable 4% wasn't so great when it started going up. But you? We did okay because we added a variable that a lot of people missed. Which was what? You know how real estate people always employ the emotional attraction of location, location, location? Yeah, so? So we built in a location that didn't go financially red in 2008 and 2009. In fact, we bought some rental houses during that same time. Which is another topic. Yes, it is. You are a quick learner. That's what AI is known for. Wait, you're AI? No. Never mind. Nothing to see here. What you're saying is, first and foremost, a mortgage is a business decision, even if I don't perceive it as such. Okay. So that was just part of the decision process for us. Look at it this way. The person who is offering you a mortgage is doing a business transaction. You should have the same attitude when getting a mortgage or when considering a mortgage payoff, though that can be an attractive option. You have flicked on a light switch in my mind, John. And I can see countless multicolored light bulbs glowing above your head, DT. Aha! There's light at the end of the tunnel. And I can assure you that it's certainly not the light of an oncoming train, DT. What? I'm saying that the light I'm giving you will in no way cause you harm. Oh, now I see where some people make these blunders. One blunder is rushing in and signing on the dotted line without considering all matters. And ordinarily, in any investment, you would not rush into making lifelong decisions like that. Knowledge is power. Yes, but I'll make a little correction to that. Applied knowledge is power. What's the difference? If you have all the knowledge in the world but don't apply it in the right way, it will not help you one single bit. Knowledge is only potential power. It becomes power only when and if it is organized into definite plans of action and directed to a definite end. Thank you, Napoleon. You've flicked on yet another light bulb. It's John, not Napoleon, but I'm working on that. Though you may know about the mortgage and investing part, if you don't apply it, you will not harvest the wealth that is in your treasure trove. Does that mean that decision is key? As long as action follows, I'll holler a big fat yes to that. Hill said, men who succeed reach decisions promptly and change them, if at all, very slowly. On the flip side, men who fail reach decisions, if at all, very slowly and change them frequently and quickly. Is there more? Most deaf. There's always more.
But first, break number 2.
We know a lot about you already, because we know ourselves. For example, we know that you know how to listen to our podcast. We also know that you probably know how to subscribe. So as soon as you're done with that, tell us your story. We have ways you can contact us. It involves a special link where you can leave us a message. We may have an email address for you as well in the future, and we'll let you know if that happens. The reason for subscribing? I thought you'd never ask. When you subscribe, you automatically download all future episodes of that podcast. It just happens in your player without you having to go search again. How cool is that? This means better rankings for the podcast, more attention from advertisers, and more money. And this means more and better stuff for you. So your motivation is simple and easy. Subscribe today, whatever app and from whatever place you like. And don't just try to subscribe. There is no try. There is only do. We're changing the way we look at things, and remember, that's good. Eso es buenísimo. Also remember, this is financial life coaching from a happiness perspective. Coaching happiness. Our call to action is right in the show notes. Find it, and you win too. Can I simple that? Por supuesto. Of course. Just simple it.
Please make sure your seatbelts are fastened and your tray tables are in their upright position.
And make sure simple is a verb like Google is a verb. So, there is not one single answer to the question, right? The should I pay off my mortgage question? That very one, my liege. No, there isn't. But have I impressed the why part on you yet? Oh, yes you have. I know why. Okay then, why? Goals. Explain? Isn't that what you always say here? Goals. if your goal is to improve your ROI, and my goal is to pay off and sleep better, then you can come to us with the same question and get a different answer. So, you can ask the same question and get a different answer? You can when humans are involved, yeah. And that's pretty often, right? So far, yes. What about the tax write-off? There's nothing like a great mortgage deduction. That is better than investment loss, but it's still back to the goal. A better ROI? Return on investment? The goal. Peace of mind. Again, it's the goal. As in, it's the goal, stupid? Yeah, if you want to get that political, then okay. It's the only way to separate a sure thing asset from many other risky assets, focusing instead on the financial circumstances. Let's change the subject. How does this tie to investing? It ties because investing is not always beating the market. Whatever market is in question. What is it then? It's preparing and enabling your own future, giving you control over how you do things. So, instead of when you change everything, it could be... good one. When you invest in you invest in everything. At least in the everything around you. And therefore, you can think and grow rich. Does our self-help guru have something to say about desire? You bet he does. Let's hear it. The starting point of all achievement is desire. Keep this constantly in mind. Weak desire brings weak results, just as a small amount of fire brings a small amount of heat. So, desire, and a huge one at that, plays an important role? That's right, DT. Desire is a driving force that, if harnessed, can take you places. What would you say to folks who have second thoughts about taking chances? You're just facing another terror barrier. It'll be okay.
Oh joy. A terror barrier.
Terror barrier? What's that? It's a future episode, DT. Stay tuned. What's fear have to do with it? Remember the 7 basic fears which hold many people in bondage throughout their lives? How can I forget such an important lesson, John? We all must master all 7 of those lessons to be successful. And the big one is the fear of poverty, as it ties in with mortgages and investing. Fear of poverty? All fears are harbored by people who allow their minds to dwell on the circumstances and things they do not want, and this particular fear is at the top of most people's lists. It's why debt elimination is so popular among investment decisions. All thoughts have the habit of attracting to one the things one thinks about, right? That's another quotable statement right there, DT. At this rate, I'll stop quoting Hill and start quoting you. And you'll be responsible for making my head swell with pride, kind sir. Which will happen, since you've conditioned your mind with a success consciousness first. You're talking about psychology. I am. Psychology has everything to do with it. Or like you say, psychology is everywhere. Right. Getting into the mix, even slowly and carefully, can get you at least one, if not more, of those MSIs we often talk about. I am sufficiently motivated to invest, Coach. If you keep at it, you will reap the rewards. I assure you of that. That's what a student does when they have a great coach. They become better than their master.
Which is how you've all gotten good.
Gracias por escuchar.
Salut. À la prochaine.
This podcast and our other podcast are productions of Little Red Hen Industries. The supporting cast who helps me bake the bread includes
Techno King, John C. Brandy, Fact Checker, Abraham Lincoln, Script Consultant, OpenAI, Language Consultant, Ever Evolving, Media Expert, Favor Abbasi EK, Psychologist, William James, Rabbit Hole Advisor, Dr. Mark Barrett, Sound Designer, Goodly Amo Marconi, Videographer, Alfred Hitchcock, Inspiration, many podcasts and other sources, and of course Napoleon Hill.
We also have websites, and you can subscribe to both podcasts and get ebooks and other great stuff. You can send us a video, audio, or text message, but of course, you'll have to head to the show notes, either on your phone or on the web, to actually get links and stuff. And those clickable links are in the show notes.
And before we forget, the artificial intelligence or AI voices you hear in our work come from Google, Amazon Polly, OpenAI, and the online tone generator linked in the show notes.
Finally, you can find us on podmatch.com and matchmaker.fm, where we consider guests and guesting on other pods.
And really finally, the music for our pods comes from Cute by Ben Sound and from Piano Background by Nick Simon Adams. The sound effects credits go to Jackson Academy Ashmore, Canoe CG, Dr. Jekyll, Joe Payne, Everything Sounds, MK Play More Stories, ERH, Sand Emotions, Big Pickle 51, and Just Good Inc. Yes. That's his or her name, all on freesound.org.
Paul.